I am Thor, son of Odin, and as long as there is life in my breast, I am running out of things to say.
Great, another broken white boy for us to fix.
That's my secret, Cat.
I'm always angry.
You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are. With great power comes great responsibility. I can do this all day.
Wakanda forever!
And what's up, y'all, and welcome to this very special edition of Views from the 616, the blackest MCU podcast in the multiverse, powered by For All Nerds. And as always, here in the captain's chair, it's your boy DJ Ben Amin, aka the Lawn Swordsman, aka the Power Toker, aka I'm not even gonna give you all my AKAs, so we're gonna get right into this tonight. And I am joined by a very special guest here in the spaceship with me, one of my oldest internet friends and also in real life, a legend. Here, is this your first time joining us?
Yes, it is my first time on Views from the 616, and I want to say I love the name of the pod.
Thank you very much. Have you been on For All Nerds even?
No, I am a nerd, but I have not been on For All Nerds yet.
Well, we're going to fix that, but you are here on Views from the 616. My man Khal from Complex, the legend, is here in the spaceship.
I thank you, Ben. I mean, it's been like you said, it's been a minute since we've known each other, and we see each other occasionally at screenings in New York. But it's fun because I watched what we're about to talk about with my homie. Yeah, I was on the train from New York to Jersey, and some of the other homies were on there, so I spent that part of the train. And then you hit me as I'm sitting home waiting for my dinner to be ready. Like, yo, you want to talk? I mean, but it's one of those things where like the film of the year, a contender at least. Like you got to have these conversations.
Yes, and I was unfortunately Tatiana was unable to attend the screening tonight, so I was up there in the balcony by myself. I met some cats up there, but none of my as we say, the blackest MCU podcast. So I saw Khal was at the screening. He was downstairs. As y'all know, we are talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. We gonna get into it. This is going to be a no spoiler review, completely no spoilers. Let me say this: anyone who spoils this film needs to be dragged. Dragged to high heaven. Because there's a lot of things in this film that if you're in the know, if you've been, paying attention, if you're on the internet, you already know is coming. We're not even going to talk about that because some people might not even know about that. We're going to do our best to just keep it to things that have been revealed by the studio already. And, my God, like I said, people need to be dragged because there are some big things that I had no clue about.
No idea.
No idea. About and I knew about a lot of stuff.
No, right. That's the thing, just in the nature of what we do, you have to know. And sometimes I actually hate it. It's like there's some things I may not want to know until I watch the film. But maybe the question, movie drops Friday. How soon does the Twitter conversation, how is that Monday?
Unfortunately, it's not. Unfortunately, I can see people making memes for this Thursday night because people are grimy. And I see people. I'm hoping that the journalistic community, manages to hold their fucking mouths together.
It better.
But I see, the regular community Thursday night. There's going to be memes,
right? Because
there's a lot of memeable stuff from these big moments that we're talking about.
Yes, there is.
So it's gonna be hard, y'all. That's why I'm warning people: mute as many phrases as you can, or stay off the socials because
just delete the apps.
Yeah, fam. Because there's all shit. There's some shit in this movie.
There's a lot going on. Like I said, if I go too deep, and when we're talking, if I go too deep into it, you let me know. Just say, Khal, shut the fuck up, all right? Because I don't want to spoil nothing for nobody.
No, all right. So let's get right into it. First of all, just what were your general thoughts on it?
I enjoyed the film. I had a lot of fun with the film. It there were a number. What's the best way to? There were a number of moments in the film where I was genuinely like yo, this is some of the crazy, like there's, cause it's a lot of action. It's a lot of laughter. I mean, there's some stuff that's not action or laughter that you're going to be like, whoa.
Yes.
But I overall, I very much enjoyed the film for what it is. For what it is.
Yes.
Again, we can get into that conversation at another time. But like end of the movie.
Yes.
They get a solid round of applause for that. How about you?
All right, now like you just said, I want to touch on that, like for what it is, because I've seen, like, I saw my man's, he just had a list of the films that he's thought about the most this year, and none were some superhero movies, right? You know, there was stuff like The Green Knight, which I haven't seen yet. I actually got a copy of that the other day, so I'm finally gonna get to see it. I can't wait. But it's like, I don't go to these superhero movies to, you know, for like Kurosawa or Scorsese or whatever. You know,
Right.
I was rewatching Casino the other night, and oh my god,
Classic.
so
Big
good.
classic. Yeah.
So violent too. That's another thing. But I go to these superhero movies for like the references for these characters that the MCU especially has developed so well, where they feel like family.
Right.
And then like this one, Spider-Man No Way Home. You know, I rewatched all the Spider-Man movies, pretty much most of them going into this, you know, over the last week or so, just, you know, while I'm doing other stuff, whatever. 'Cause I've seen them so many times, I know most of them.
Right.
And so it was like, okay. And then I rewatched Homecoming the other night, and I was like, God damn, that's good. I didn't get to rewatch Far From Home, but I've seen that a lot, so I know how good that one is. So I was really anticipating this, and I'll just say this. I think this is the best Spider-Man trilogy. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, well, I will say this, because I know the fans, especially the fans that I interact with a lot, they're going to say Spider-Man 2
Yes.
is the bomb. But I think in terms of when you say those three films versus these three films, I think overall this trilogy has like front to back better quality films. I still think Spider-Man 2 is one of the greatest superhero films like ever. That Otto, like that movie is hard. But shouts to John Watts, shouts to Tom Holland, you know what I mean? Marvel coming in and saying, "Hey Sony, you need some help, we got you." I'm sorry, but you know,
you need some help, homie.
You know, we say, homie, I see that Spider-Man, you need some help. No, well, all right. Again, not to spoil anything, Ben. I mean, but imagine what this film would have been like without Marvel's fingerprints. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot going on to where Sony. There's a reason why they're leaning on Kevin Feige and the cats at Marvel. They're doing better with them than without them.
It just can't be done.
Can't.
You know, and there's even a line of dialogue that implicitly references that, where it's just like, this is what you've been missing. You know, and that's just all there is to it, because you, like, that's another thing I want to talk about real quick. I've seen a lot of people don't really F with this with Tom Holland's version, because they always call him Iron Man Jr. You know, they're like, oh, he's just, you know, Iron Man. He's he's always searching for a father figure every movie.
Right.
And I was discussing this with a journalist, my man Eli, who I met tonight beforehand. And it's like, in this version of Spider-Man, it's so logical for Tony Stark to be his idol and for him to have this connection with Tony Stark. Now, is it the Spider-Man that we all grew up on or have read throughout comics and throughout every other medium? No, it's not, but it's the MCU's version of it. And it just makes sense.
No, 100%. It's. I mean, they set it up that way though. But again, some of that is needed. You know what I mean? Like, I think because it's natural. If Iron Man was the one to introduce Spider-Man, he sought him out. So of course there should be some type of connection. Now, does that mean that every film needs to have, you know, a Marvel guy in it to kind of, I don't want to say be an anchor, but like be that person that they keep going back to? I hope that it transitions out of that, because I think, you know, like you're saying, Tom Holland's bringing it.
Yes.
I think this film is going to prove, without a shadow of a doubt, that, man's a Spider-Man. And I don't know if Sony doesn't think they can do it without it or what, but at some point they need to just give him the rock, let him be that lead that he is, and not even have to lean on whoever's coming around to help him out. He really doesn't need all of that at this point.
Are you my daddy? No, but I actually will say I think that I don't want to see that.
You don't
I've
want to see that?
seen enough Spider-Man movies where it's just Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Like this is the MCU. This is Marvel. That's what I grew up on, with Spider-Man swinging by in the background when Fantastic Four was on something. Or, Spider-Man, Johnny and Peter's relationship, which,
right.
I can't wait for them to do that, on the screen. Like, the interactions of these characters is what I'm here for. So if it is going to be Iron Man Jr., or if he's going to meet Doctor Strange in this one, I'm down for it, because him meeting Doctor Strange in Infinity War is one of the funniest moments. It just...
Word.
So,
and like you said, it's logical. It's not like they're just pulling it out of thin air. There are those connections there, so it all makes sense. It all makes sense. Like I would, at some point, it would be dope though to see, like, or at least have a half a film where it's Tom Holland having to be the center, the guy. You feel what I'm saying? But
I think you get that here.
You do. No,
yeah, I think you get that here.
You do. It's a lot. It's a lot of other shit going on.
It's a lot of other shit going on in this movie. All right, so back to this film. We both saying that we, thoroughly enjoyed it. I put it up, like I say, I think out of a trilogy, this is the best one to me, or my favorite. Because I think all three trilogies have something good about them.
Right. No, right.
But as far as this movie, like, once again, we are doing our best to keep everything spoiler free. So let's say, okay, these are the things that we can discuss. These are the things that the studio has put out there. We know that Willem Dafoe returns.
Yes.
We know that Alfred Molina returns. We know that Jamie Foxx returns. And they all return as versions of the characters that we've seen them in their other films.
Word.
Right? That we can know. All three of them motherfuckers killed this shit.
Killed it. No, killed it.
Killed it. I was worried about Jamie, because Jamie can be, up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought Jamie brought the heat for this one.
He did what he needed to do.
Yes.
It was enough of... Well, I think the beauty of it is, because, like, it was enough... It's enough of the character that you knew from the film, but it wasn't one note. You feel what I'm saying?
No.
Like, they still had motivate. There were still things that were going on with them that were a growth from the previous time you've seen them. So it the way those people were used were very, very smartly done, in my opinion. I loved Willem Dafoe, by the way. He that man's a god when he steps in front of a camera anyway. But I forgot how much I enjoyed that character when I saw him really getting into his shit in this film. The voice, his face, the way he can just contort his face into that shit is... Y'all talk about the Joker and that smile. Y'all got to go back and look at that goblin smile, because that shit that's some freaky shit right there. You don't want to see that waking up in the morning.
No, yeah, I think he is the original, because he predates Smeagol, right?
Yeah.
I think so, right? Yeah, I think
so.
I think he predates Smeagol and Gollum. And he, to me, is the original Smeagol and Gollum. And seeing him redo that shit,
right?
Of, like, especially his, like, oh my God, I'm just Norman Osborn. When he's doing that shit, it's like
he's good.
I rewatched that first one, and how he flips on Peter at the end of that one, when he's like, "Help me, my boy, help me," and then he's like, "Godspeed, Spider-Man."
It's amazing. It's because it's like just the right amount of, like, super cartoony villain, but also, like, downright frightening like that shit is crazy. Like, in a horror film, that would be nuts.
Yeah, I mean, Willem Dafoe acts like he's in a horror film every time he's acting, no matter what the role is.
I loved my man Alfred coming back too. Though again, that's another one that felt like he had just had that role yesterday and picked it right back up.
It was really incredible seeing some of that shit because it's like, goddamn, because like I say, I just rewatched these movies, so it really just felt like those movies just happened, and they didn't. Them shit is mad long ago.
Word. Damn.
Okay, so that is known. We also know that from the trailers we've seen the Lizard in some form and Sandman in some form. And so, all of that was very well done.
Right. No, right. They again, it's almost like I kind of wish I could get redos or like remasters or like an MCU remix of some of these films, because it's a shame that I'd love to see them that been explored in the MCU as well, but I enjoy the way they put this together with those characters and that Sandman animation. I ain't gonna hold you, but there's a couple of times where I'm like, yo, he really about to. It's just ill to see the way that shit was moving and everything.
John Watts put his foot in this one. The cinematography, there was some shots like I saw Tom beforehand talk about how they did some of the Sam Raimi type shots when he was swinging, and you get that. Like you said, that Sandman animation, the Jamie Foxx's Electro hit the way his powers looked, Goblin on the glider again, all that. Oh,
she was dope.
Ock in the arms, like all of that was, that was there. I want to give a shout out to Chris McKenna and Eric Summers who wrote this joint. Because once again, put their foot in it. From a writing perspective, all right, now this is where I will say one of my issues, at least the first viewing. I felt like the first act was kind of like, not what's going on, but there's a lot going on. And is it working? I wasn't sure.
It took a bit. The film, that was probably the first takeaway I had is, and remember, the movie's like 2.5 hours.
Yes.
Something like that.
So we might be talking about the first 20 minutes at most, maybe even the first 10.
You for a film like this, a concept like this, you need some type of setup. I get it, but it definitely it doesn't feel like it's connecting for a bit. But once it does, once the film figures it out, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You just get on that ride. You gone.
You gone. That's it. It is like it. Like I say, it starts off. I'm not sure, and I was like, oh, okay, what's going on? And then once, like you said, once they figured it out, once the film itself figures itself out, it's from then to finish. It's not start to finish. It starts off kind of like you're trying to get that engine going, but then once you get that engine going, pedal to the metal from there to the end. I almost jumped out of my seat a couple times. I was laughing, I was crying, it's lit. And once again, I will say this, even if you've seen pretty much, I stopped watching a lot of the trailers. I know there were some TV spots that had like Willem in it. I'd never even seen those. So I avoided all that.
Yeah, I think that the other day they dropped a clip where it was like a bunch of Otto Octavia stuff.
I've avoided all of that. And I advise all of y'all to as well. But once again, Marvel has done such a skillful job, even with the trailers that I've seen, editing things, changing things around. And then not even, once again, this is something I really give them credit for. And I knew they were doing this. A lot of it is first and second act stuff that's in the trailers. Third, fourth act, none of it's in the trailers. Like nothing.
Smart.
It's very smartly done in that way.
Very smart.
So that I will, I'll let y'all know there's so much shit you haven't seen yet. There's things that I thought that people, were thinking about surmising this and that, theories, of course, a million different ways.
Yeah.
Most of them are wrong.
I want to say, I will say that. I don't want to say your theory's probably wrong. But I will say, like you said earlier, try and go in as open as you can. Like you multiverse, whatever you've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that in the back of your mind, but really just sit down and watch the film, because people are going to be hype already for what they know and what they've seen and what there's been rumored to have been happening in the film. Like, people already are going to walk in hype.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go in thinking, I'm going to get this and this. Don't make a list of what you think is going to be in this film, because you may get 3 of those things.
Yes. And I'll even say that, like, there were things that, like we said, if you pay attention to the nets and stuff, you know things are coming. But by a point in this movie, I was like, well, maybe that shit ain't going to happen.
Right.
And then when it did happen, I was like, oh, fuck!
They got it. No, they did that. They did that.
Because, like I said, it was like that good, where I was like, because by the end of the movie, it already started getting its footing. So I was like, okay, then, like, maybe that's not going to happen. And, you know, we just going to go with this. And I'm like, okay, this is good, though. I'm good with that if that doesn't happen. You know, I'm good. Right. And then that did happen. And then it kept happening. Yo,
they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
You mentioned, I don't want to backtrack, but we haven't talked about them yet. You mentioned cinematography and some of the shots. Mm-hmm. And again, without giving any of it away, your man Doctor Strange. When your man Doctor Strange is when it's ready to do, when it's time to do work, like, come, there's a cat that I work with last year when they was talking about, you know, oh, Doctor Strange's next movie, and oh, he's gonna be in this and that and that, and he's a strange guy, and he's like, yo, ain't nobody fucking with Doctor Strange, cause A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I saw the movie. I saw the shit. He get in Infinity War with all the fight. That's ill. Watching this shit, though?
See, I'm like your boy, because I'm a strange guy. Like,
yeah.
And especially from how they portrayed him. Like, I thought the first movie was but like Infinity War, when he was going head to head with Thanos,
he was going.
That's one of my favorite. You know, like, my man turned his shit into butterflies. Like, you know. That was one of the illest scenes ever to me, and that was like, okay, this is the Strange I want to see. And I was kind of upset because they fired my man's Derrickson. You know, that hurt me.
Really? He's not doing the next film?
No, it's not. But it's what's his name, who I can't be fucking mad at. It's it's the god.
I thought I didn't know that, but I did know that.
Yeah, it's the god of horror. What's his name? Oh God.
I gotta pull it up. Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Okay. So while you're pulling that up,
it's Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi. Yeah. So it's like, I can't be mad, but I'm mad because that was a personal thing with me, and right. That's something else. I can't even discuss that, NDAs and everything. So yeah. So
yeah, don't get yourself out. Don't get yourself hurt out here. Don't do that.
I'm definitely not, folks. No way, shape, or form. No way home.
I don't want views from the 616 to get canceled on the episode I'm on.
Right.
That'd be terrible.
So, all right, we're going to get up out of here pretty quickly, so we don't have anything else. So, let's see. You mentioned the direction, Strange. Yeah, anything else that you want to mention before? Okay, there are 2 end credits, you know. That's all I'm saying on that.
Yeah, definitely stay.
But you already know that. Yeah, you know that. That's all I'll say on that. Anything else that I want to mention? We mentioned the writing, mentioned the direction. I said that, we said the first act is kind of where it gets shaky.
I'm as much of a sneakerhead as Tom Holland was. I was kind of surprised. I was hoping there was going to be more sneaker. Maybe and they've signed him on for these these other movies. Maybe he could get like the sneaker game popping. You know what I mean? He'd be a little older or whatever. You know what I mean? He been in the game a bit. You know, maybe he wants to be like Miles Morales. You know what I mean? Swinging around in some ones or something like that. I want to see more. He had a little bit of something in there, but I'd like to see a little bit more.
I didn't know Tom was ahead though. That's dope.
I will say, when I did the junket for this film a couple of weeks ago, and he had because it was the three of them, and he's sitting there with his leg crossed, and he had the pad of ones on or the pad of Air Max on. He had the brown joints, and I'm like, I had to be like, oh, I see you, see you. And Jacob Batalon was like, yeah, he crazy with that, he crazy, but he's a sneaker guy, so it would be dope to see. As a matter of fact, he said the pairs. I asked him about the pair, one of the pairs of sneakers he had on in the film, and he told me that he made that choice because he wanted those sneakers.
Okay.
So I can only hope, and I don't want to make this a sneaker podcast. I know what it is, but it would be ill to see him explore that a little bit more. Shit, I almost wore my origin story ones from I might, when I go see the movie when it's out in theaters, I might have to throw those on for the one time.
Yeah, and like you said, I'm definitely going to see this again in theaters. I did not I wanted to see Eternals again. I did not get a chance to, but this one, there's no way in hell I'm not seeing this again.
Got to.
Yeah, because it was an experience, the roaring of the crowd, the yelling, the screaming, all that was...
Think of how much, like, you've watched the film and you caught a lot, but think of how much more stuff you're going to catch.
Yeah, the second time. Facts.
There's probably Easter eggs all up in that motherfucker I wasn't even paying attention to, but yeah, that movie hits, and it's probably going to hit just as well on a second viewing, on a third viewing, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Be safe though.
Yes.
Mask up, because I don't want I don't hear no bullshit if they shut these theaters down and y'all can't see this film because you got the damn Omicron, Unicron variant popping out there. Don't do that shit.
Please. So, I was masked up and there was still some guy in the theater coughing, man. I was like, come on. Not in this day and age, fam. You can't do that. You can't be out there like
because everybody's like, huh?
Yeah, if you start coughing, you just try to go home. That's how.
Gotta go.
All right. Before we say anything too much, so I think we both agree this shit is fire.
Fire.
It's a fitting end of the trilogy. I feel like they give everyone in the joint their moment too. That's something else that I really loved about the writing. Everybody gets a moment,
Word. Which is a lot, like you said, because it's a lot of characters.
It's a lot of characters, and all of them get their moment. Like I said, I think the first act, but that's on my first viewing, I was kind of shaky. But overall, I just thought this shit's fire. Y'all should all check it out.
Facts.
I don't think we got anything else. Khal, please let the people know where they can find you at out there on these internets.
Please, thank you. I'm at Khal on Twitter, at KhalDub on Instagram, complex.com. If you go to the pop culture section, they will probably be dropping some Spider-Man related stuff from, I guess, this week until summer next. That's pretty much going to be the conversation. But again, don't play yourself. Spoilers will be out there, so you gotta, put the blinders on. Again, mute your words or whatever you got to do until you see it. But I will also say, I know it was a mad dash, and I know if you weren't able to secure your tickets, I'm sorry, but if you were one of the people like I do not want to get spoiled, I would highly recommend watching it first weekend because once Sunday night, Monday hits,
the commercials are going to be different. Everything's going to be different. It's going to be. They're going to be Sony is going to let it all out the bag.
Just on the
Monday. Yeah,
they're going to drop the script.
They're going to be
highlighting the script. Go to page 147. See what happened.
Sony is like, nigga, we need $1 billion. We don't give a fuck.
That again, that's been the conversation. A lot of people are thinking that it's going to be Spider-Man going to hit the billy, and we may not even see that until Batman next year. So this is going to be the film to watch before you close out 2021. And with the way the last 2 years, you owe yourself to go see a quality Spider-Man film. Treat yourself.
Word. All right, we're going to get up out of here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this special edition of Views from the 616. We'll be back. We're going to have to bring Khal back to when we do our no-spoiler all-star review of Spider-Man.
Let me know.
We definitely got to bring you back for that. Make sure y'all follow us at For All Nerds, at Views from the 616 on Twitter, on Instagram, all those places, on all your favorite podcast platforms, on YouTube, on Twitch.tv. That's twitch.tv/forallnerds. We'll probably be broadcasting this tomorrow at 1 p.m. at our special time, as always, or that's today, because Tuesday. We're doing this for y'all, for the people. The embargo about to lift, and we here recording right now because we love y'all. It's your boy DJ Ben Amin, and we out.